Ethereum struggles to get back above $2,000 as Bitcoin is continually pushed back down, but something is looking very interesting in the charts right now, and in today's video we're going to look at the charts to see exactly what is happening with Ethereum, what Ethereum needs to do to be able to regain some strength, as well as news on Ethereum upgrade and what's happening today with Ethereum options. Hey guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make videos on Ethereum as well as other cryptocurrencies. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't already done it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in the crypto markets as soon as it happens. Without further ado then, let's jump into that first piece of Ethereum news for today. Okay, so probably the biggest news that's coming around and what we've been talking around for a very long time now is the Ethereum upgrade, which is due in July. And Ethereum testnet burns 88,000 Ethereum in preparation for EIP 1559. Okay, so obviously up until now, Ethereum has been an inflationary asset. Fees are paid in Ethereum, which has meant that Ethereum is increasing in terms of the number of Ethereum available, which obviously does have an impact on the price, but obviously 88,000 being burned, as well as Ethereum moving towards a deflationary model where there'll be less and less Ethereum available is obviously nothing but good for the Ethereum price in the longer term. Okay, so Ethereum's London hard fork launched on the Ropsten testnet on June 24th, which is yesterday, in preparation for the mainnet rollout in July. The upgrade will usher the implementation of highly anticipated Ethereum Improvement Project 1559 modification that will adjust the Ethereum transaction fee calculation mechanism. Okay, at the moment, the London hard fork rollout deployment is due to hit a testnet on July the 7th and the mainnet later on that month. Okay, so things are starting to become quite interesting in Ethereum. Obviously, at the moment, the price is slightly low, and we would probably be interested in perhaps slightly more bullish activity. But a lot of this is down to what's happening in Bitcoin and the way Bitcoin is being moved. And we're going to look at something very interesting in a moment, talking about the Wyckoff accumulation that's happening potentially in Bitcoin that could signal that we're actually heading for something very bullish and very exciting. As well as what I've already talked about on this channel today, Ethereum options due to expire. So there's a huge amount of Ethereum options that are due to expire today, probably the most that have expired this year. And depending on where the price is at, people are going to be forced to either buy or sell the market, which is obviously going to have a huge impact on the price. Therefore, we would like to potentially see Ethereum moving back beyond $2,000 before this options expiry takes place in order to fulfill a number of contracts, which will be more bullish for Ethereum if that does play out. Now, I didn't do this myself. I've retweeted it over on my Twitter page. So make sure you head over to the House of Crypto Twitter, which I put down below for all of the updates that I put up there, as well as other information which I think might be of importance. And lots of people have been talking about Wyckoff analysis. And this is the Bitcoin chart. And the reason I'm showing you the Bitcoin chart is, as we well know, Bitcoin moves and Ethereum says how far, right? So Ethereum is always following pretty much at the moment what Bitcoin is doing. And we can see on this chart, so the Wyckoff accumulation pattern is basically where we're sort of at a lower level, and it predicts kind of how things move before, as we can see, moving back towards the upside. And this is basically an overlay over the Bitcoin pattern, and you can see almost how perfectly it sort of followed this pattern. And as we see that Bitcoin did drop down to $28,000 or just above $28,000 a couple of days ago, and as you can see, we're now kind of back up into this zone. So in my opinion, if this does play out, then Bitcoin is going to be starting to look quite bullish in the short term, potentially moving us back up towards the $48,000 level. This is on an 8-hour chart, so it's potentially a move that we could see happening quite soon. In my opinion, given that this was a couple of days ago, we are probably sitting around this area here. So the last point is basically sort of telling us that if it doesn't break through this level at around the sort of $35,000 level, then we potentially might see a further drop to the downside. But at the moment, it's following this pattern perfectly, which is quite positive in my opinion, and something that we potentially could be quite excited about as Bitcoin holders, and particularly as Ethereum holders because obviously Ethereum is following pretty much to the dollar what Bitcoin is doing at the moment. Now, jumping over to the Ethereum chart, I drew your attention to this huge pattern a few days ago, and I said if we were to drop out the bottom of here, then we would potentially come down to around the $1,730 level, and we did wick down much lower, but actually we did close back up around the sort of $1,800 level. Why was the $1,730 level significant? As you can see, before we kind of dropped down and we perfectly touched that level, and actually as a Fibonacci retracement from the low back last year all the way to the top a few weeks ago, that basically was the golden ratio number at around $1,731 approximately, $1,736 I believe, and we see how significant that number was. Previously here where we had that touch, and then again, we found something else as well. But what is happening in the short term, so this is on a 4-hour chart, and something very interesting has happened. Again, we've formed this rising wedge pattern, which typically is a bit of a reversal pattern where the bears are trying to push us down, and each time we're getting sort of higher highs, but maintaining the same sort of level at the top point here. So around $2,035. As you can see right this second, we're sat pretty much on the bottom of this triangle. So actually very soon we're going to see what might play out. If we do take a dip further to the downside, then this is potentially going to move us down towards the sort of $1,500 level. What we've already seen here is it's sort of found support. Is it going to be able to continue to find support here? If it does, and we move back up towards the upside, then we are going to be looking for a breakout in this direction and moving up towards here. Now, given the news that's happening with regards to options expiry, that potentially by the time, if it was to make this move back up towards the $2,030 level, that we would probably have that news launch around then, which could bring a load of volume into the market and give us the push or the breakout that we need. If we were to then take a push, then the next sort of line in terms of where we'd be looking would be back up towards the $2,300 level, where obviously we've got this sort of chart pattern here. But if we were to be rejected, then potentially we would be looking at a further drop from here. In the short term, it's all very uncertain. We've seen lots of change happening in Bitcoin, and the trend has been down. Okay, so it's continuing to push down. So obviously, at some point we will find the bottom. Until that happens, we're still potentially thinking that probably the bearish move is probably the most likely thing to play out. So what is happening literally as I speak here is we're testing this sort of support level. If we do find support, then we will have to move up towards the $2,030 level. If not, we are looking to take a further drop to the downside, where, as I've mentioned, we'll probably take at least down to this sort of level at around $1,700, potentially lower in my opinion. Okay, so what I've put on here is the Fibonacci retracement tool, which has showed how we dipped and we touched this key line here, and then we kind of got pushed back up into this area, and then yesterday we've been working our way back up through this area, and a few days ago we took this touch back down at $1,730, and as we can see, we kind of bounced back up. So the $1,730 is obviously a very key level, and potentially will offer us support if we do take that drop further down. But as you can see, literally as I started making this video, it's around $1,930. We have seen a bit of a push back towards the upside. Are the bulls going to be able to hold strength here? Obviously the next key level we can see is the 0.5, where previously you saw we took a drop. It was offering support here, took a drop down, turned into resistance. So the next push back towards 2,223, which will obviously be the key test, because potentially if we are able to break back above there and find good support, then we're going to be looking to move back up, and that potentially could signify the end of this downtrend. Now obviously there's a lot of positive news in the markets at the moment. Sometimes there's negative news, but ultimately what happens in the charts and what it shows us when we come to these key decision points like we're currently sat at, that kind of gives us the best indication of what exactly is happening. A lot of the news is created to kind of manipulate the market and push it around, but basically the chart is kind of a representation of emotion and feeling that's going on. So, you know, what's happening at the moment, people are very, perhaps not that interested in crypto. It's very obvious, you know, when you're making YouTube videos, that when the markets are going up, the views are insane. When the markets are going down, people don't tend to pay so much attention. But actually, when the markets are going down, that's when we really should be paying attention, guys, because that's when, you know, we can potentially buy at good prices. And if it does go against us, you know, we're kind of ready, okay? So if we are perhaps a bit down on our initial investment, actually, you know, switching off and running away and burying our head in the sand isn't necessarily the best option, but paying more attention to what is going on is. So, as I've mentioned, as long as Ethereum can hold above the sort of $1,930, $1,925 level, and we have perhaps an hour close or a 4-hour close inside that pattern, and we can push back towards that $2,040 level, that's where we might see a bit of a reversal of what's going on at the moment. Now, if you're an Ethereum holder or a Bitcoin holder, etc., and you want to make the most of your holding, you can go over to BlockFi.com. I'll leave a link in the description, where you can earn up to 8.6% on your crypto holding paid in that cryptocurrency. So if you're going to hold, it's a bit of a no-brainer in my opinion that you may as well be making a passive income from it. Even if it's going down or going up, I'm still making money in my crypto. And as well, if you go through the link down below, you can get up to a $250 payout for your deposit. And there's varying sort of levels depending on how much you want to deposit. It's a very reputable company. It's been around for a long time and is backed up by some of the biggest names in crypto. Guys, hope you've enjoyed today's quick Ethereum update. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps because it allows me to get this content to more and more people, as well as hitting that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in Ethereum, as well as IPOs, which in the past have done up to 2,000%, and as well as stocks, etc., which I see as being great investment opportunities. Guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.